For LRC, I just looked really quickly at their like rules and regs. As long as it's not a fundraising, a political fundraising event, which this would not be, or like a reception for a candidate, which again, that's not what this is. It should be allowed under LRC rules. And so that might be the best place to start, just because they do have all those different rooms where you could do different breakout sessions. So I think LRC, and they have a ton of AV, obviously they're used to that stuff. So I would go ahead and start there. And then I'll inquire with our operations director about the place on the Capitol grounds. But I would start at LRC, and then I'll follow whenever she gives me an answer about what the place is called. I will follow up with you, Parker.
Okay. And then if we have to like not do breakout sessions and just do like mass like breakout sessions, so just with everybody, we're able to do that. That where you were just in our April meeting, whenever we had our board meeting, that was just like something that the board had thought of, and we're always able to change that.
Okay, cool.
And then, sorry. What was the other thing I just thought of? So with LRC rules, would we be able to do networking? Would that be possible?
With your what? Sorry.
So I know you mentioned with LRC rules, like it can't be a candidate reception. Would we be able to have candidates there and do like a networking session, quote unquote?
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as you're not like as long as they're speaking to you about kind of the importance of youth being engaged in, the political process, or kind of a recap of what happened that session, yes. And as long as you're not just featuring like one candidate, yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming they wouldn't be able to like hand stuff out to our members regarding their candidacy and all that.
I think if there's no one in the room from LRC, yes.
Okay.
But make it really clear, obviously you all are high schoolers, you're not rolling in the dough. So just make it clear whenever you ask candidates to come to this, this is not a fundraising event. It's really an opportunity to talk about their experience, talk about why it's important for youth to be involved. And then I think you'll fall within the boundaries of what LRC requires.
Okay. Connor, is there anything other than other like finance stuff that I can't think of that you could think of right now?
Not that I can think of. If there's any like just going back to printed material that the KDP uses for various printed material or things along that nature that you highly recommend or prefer in terms of organizations, and we'll gladly take those suggestions, especially those that you guys have a good relationship with.
Yeah, there's a place, and I'll get you the name of the gentleman who owns it. There's a place in Lexington called Elite Graphics. And so it's really important for Democratic state parties whenever they're printing anything, even if it's, a mailer or an envelope, t-shirt, whatever, that we use union print shops to support, our friends in the organized labor movement. And so Elite is a union print shop. And I feel confident that if, you kind of told them what you were doing and that you guys are the high school Dems, they would be happy to kind of offer you a wholesale price for some of this stuff. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think if you're just doing handouts and stuff like that, it might be cheaper to go to like FedEx or something like that. You can get really nice, like professional looking stuff there. So I'll connect you with Elite. But I would also kind of just like check, your normal stores too.
Okay.
Okay, related to Nicholas's question. Just generally about the KDP convention, the only business that we're going to have on Saturday of the state convention, the entire purpose is to select delegates to go to the national convention. And you have to be 18 to be a national convention delegate. That doesn't mean that you can't go to the convention. We are going to have a dinner the night before, and we're going to have, some special speakers, some bigger name folks, and we are selling tickets to that. We're going to start next week, and there is going to be a youth price. I think it's like around $50 or $60 for that ticket. So I'll make sure to send that out. It'll be on all our social media channels, but I'll make sure to send that out to you guys. And, Parker, I know you had asked me to mention to the governor, just kind of what you guys are doing. I will also connect you with his scheduler. He obviously lives in Frankfurt. So if you guys could kind of hammer down a time when you think he should speak, I would suggest kind of like in the morning, just a good kickoff to motivate people. But they're going to ask for a time and a place. So I would maybe go ahead and reach out to his scheduler. Again, I'll connect you with her, and kind of give them the date and the time, and just tell her that it will be in Frankfurt, and you'll update her later on the exact location. I think that'll be good enough, but just know a time that, that you want him to come in and speak. And then, what will happen is if he's unavailable, they will send that to the lieutenant governor and Rocky to see if either of them could come.
Okay. And then I'm glad that you mentioned him because that made me think of speakers. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up these notes. Would you guys be able to, would you guys be able to get us in like contact with like elected officials? I have some, and I know Nicholas has some.
Yeah, who are you guys interested in?
What I will do is I can tell you, so like doing what our breakout sessions were, if we are going off that. For one of them was public education. We were looking at Tyler Murphy, and I think Connor has a contact with him, and then Adriel. And then there's three others. Healthcare and human rights. We were looking at Planned Parenthood, Hadley Duvall, Kentucky Health Justice Network.
Okay.
Rural affairs and agriculture, Ashley Tackett Lafferty, Senator Webb, Sierra and Low. Is it Angie Hat? I can't read comments. Yes. And then criminal justice, Charles Booker, David Yates, possibly the ACLU, Katura Heron, and Pam Stevenson.
Yeah, I will say, so for rural stuff, Ashley is a great one, but just given her location, like she would probably, same with Angie and Sierra, I think like all the rural people you named, they would probably do it via Zoom if that would be okay. Out of all the like kind of criminal justice folks you named, I would say Katura would be the best, because not only is she a lawmaker, but she used to work for the ACLU, so she has kind of both experiences. So I will connect you, and then obviously the lieutenant governor is a teacher, very passionate about education, and so she could hit on that, So I will connect you with some of these folks. Yeah. And I'll connect you with the governor's scheduler, and then I mean, I know all the people that you listed. I will just, I'll connect you with who I think is the best fit. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
And then we were looking at possibly doing a panel, and we're probably like one of the name ideas we were calling it is the future of Kentucky Democrats or Democratic Party. And we were thinking of, Connor, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Allison Wiseman, Coleman, you possibly Morgan, whether you or Coleman, whoever's available for that. KYDems, possibly. Connor, who else?
Young Dems. Basically, just a panel of individuals who can speak to what they want to see the future of KYDems go, and kind of have that like generational connections and reflection over what we have done and what is needed to be done and what high school students now can do to propel themselves for a future as a Kentucky Democratic leader.
Okay, great. Do any of you know Allison Wiseman? If not, I'll connect you with her from the Young Dems.
I do.
Okay. I'm sure she'd be glad to do it, I'm sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can connect you with some of those folks if you don't have those connections.
Okay. And then we were looking at possibly having Coleman Elridge do a keynote. Do you think that would be possible, or you?
Yeah, no, Coleman's a really dynamic speaker. I mean, I'm always happy to do it, but Coleman's a much more motivational speaker than I am. So yes, I will connect you with him too.
Okay. Connor, is there anything else that I have missed regarding like the schedule for the convention?
Not that I can think of. I think we've covered pretty much all of it. I know our event time, we were looking at 10 to, was it 4?
I believe it was 4.
Yeah. So we've got a schedule laid out, and like you were saying about the governor, like we have a time. We've already figured out timing, assuming venue and everything works out. Kind of the timing for that, so we can get that over to them ASAP.
Okay, cool. Yes, I will. As soon as we hop off this, I will connect Parker and all these folks, and we can just kind of take it from there. Thanks, Nicholas.
And then so like I know you said that 1,500 would be possible, just in case like anything was to come up or anything. Would 2,000 at most? Would the party be able to do that? Like
I would have to talk to our operations director. I don't see why not, but yeah, I'd have to talk to her about that.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think you guys are gonna go that high, but
Yeah, I don't think,
we'll
but
see.
I just want to just ask, just so in case something happens.
Yeah. No, I can talk to her about that.
Okay. And then, so I know you've asked like how we would get the money. You guys would be ordering. Who should we be contacting about all of it? Should I contact you?
You can contact me, and then I will just connect you with our operations director because she will be handling all of it. So kind of once you figure out, the first step is to figure out attendance, like just how many people do you think, and then to lock in a vendor for the food. And then you'll have to provide them probably a week before the final number of folks that are going to be attending. And then, KDP would pay that person. So we would just need a final number. Number one, an estimated number. Number two, a final number, like a week before, so that we can make sure that everything's good with the food vendor. And then, we would just get like a variety of drinks and stuff like that.
Okay. Let me write that down just so I don't forget. And then would you guys, since you guys are like funding it all, I'm just gonna assume you would want to be included in marketing and all of that?
Like,
Like-
approving everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Why not? I have faith that you all aren't gonna embarrass us, but sure.
I hope Kate doesn't embarrass. But we can put your logo on everything, and
Yeah,
I can send it to you or send it to, I think it's Jonathan.
our comms director
Yeah,
is John. Yeah. Yeah, you can send it to me or him. It doesn't matter.
okay.
Or both of us. I mean, he and I will both be looking at it, so you can just send it to both of us.
Okay. And then, Connor, I know you had brought up in our meeting t-shirts. Is that something you're still looking at?
I think we end up doing the lanyards. I think will be okay. I just want
Okay.
something that was more like physical keepsake, just from previous conference experiences, specifically political ones. It seems like lanyards are more of a hit than an actual T-shirt is. But obviously, like for example, if there were any, well, that goes right to the candidate role. But I was like, if candidates had different free merch and stuff that people could grab, I mean, obviously that's fine. But I think fiscally wise, I think lanyards are that best financial move.
Okay. Nicholas, do you have any thoughts, anything, any questions, anything like that?
Hey y'all. No, I don't really have anything to add. The only thing that I can really think of is, of course, I will definitely try and follow up after I get a hold of soil. If to get just the final rough estimate once we're done with all the planning phase, and I'll send it to Morgan either by just text, or if you'd like me to do it document wise, I can do that as well.
If you'll just email me, it's just Morgan at KYDemocrats.org. So
Okay.
that would be fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll just send an estimate once we get everybody locked down and the estimate for food. And I know that the candidate role may be an issue with kind of the previous thing about t-shirts and sponsorships, but regardless, we'll hash out the numbers and I'll send them along to you.
Okay, perfect. Yes, and I will ask our operations director about that other space that's on the Capitol grounds. I'm not sure if they have any, rules and regulations about what it can and can't be used for, but I will try to at least find a contact person for that space.
Okay. And then if you want to, you can just if you wanted to, just send me over other Frankfurt spaces. Like if they can't do 75 or something like that, we can always cap our number. And then we can always change our schedule if they can't accommodate like breakout sessions or anything like that. Because right now it's just a very rough schedule.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, so I will think about that and let you guys know. And like I said, check in with our operations director about the other place. And yeah, just keep me updated on kind of the number of folks you guys are expecting and the food vendor that you'd like to use. And we will go from there.
Okay. And then one quick question. I know you had told me for national convention it's 18. What about like state convention, and are high schoolers able to run for state convention delegate?
No, you have to be 18 and registered to vote, unfortunately.
Okay.
Again, nothing prevents you from attending. You just can't, you know, be a county delegate, a state convention delegate, and then a national convention delegate. And we are having that dinner on Friday, the night before. It's Friday, June 14th. So, you know, if you guys are interested in coming to Louisville to attend that, just keep a lookout on our social media page for that. It'll be posted next week.
Okay. And then Connor, you can go ahead and ask a DNC question, because I know you had one that you wanted to ask for while we were on.
Just to clarify, if I read the delegate plan correctly, which that was fun to read through, but it's 18 by the general election, right?
Yes. So in order to be a delegate, you have to, it's a convoluted process, and bless you for reading it. I've read it like 20 times and I'm still not sure I understand everything it says. So in order to be a delegate, you have to fill out the delegate selection form by, I think it's May 14th, so in a few weeks. And then there will be a county convention on June 1st. You do not have to go to that to be a national convention delegate. However, those are the people, part of the people that will be voting for you to be a national convention delegate. So it would be smart, you know, if you're interested and you want to submit a form to be a national convention delegate, if you went to your county convention on June 1st, to not only become a state convention delegate, but to introduce yourself to those other delegates that are going to go to the state convention and advocate for yourself, since those are part of the people that will be voting for you at the state convention. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. It's something I've been, finally I'm of voting age, hallelujah, but it's something I've been, there's been a big push, I know, from High School Democrats of America to have more young people, of course in high school terms, like 18, 19, depending on, to run for DNC. And something I had looked into and reading through that document, like you said, 20 times, still confused on different aspects. But another part is like when state convention does happen, you were mentioning the voting process on Saturday. Is that the executive board voting? Is that the delegates of the Kentucky Democratic Party voting? Could you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so on Saturday, what will happen in the morning is that all the county convention delegates, so they were, you know, they won at the county convention and now they're state convention delegates. Those people will break out into congressional districts. And if you file to be, is Woodford still in the 6th congressional district?
Woodford's in 6th.
They only took
remember.
Franklin out.
Okay, I couldn't remember if they also took Woodford. So you would be in the 6th, if you file to be a district level delegate, you would be in a room with all the other state convention delegates from the 6th congressional district, and they would be voting for you. So it's a campaign process, essentially. We do have diversity goals, you know, youth, person of color, LGBTQ. So if you fall into one of those categories, if you fall into multiple of those categories, that's something you can utilize when you're talking to folks. Hey, you know, the DNC and KDP have these diversity goals they have to meet. I'm X, Y, and Z. You know, it makes your case just a lot better. So you would be the people in the 6 congressional districts that got voted on to, you know, be state convention delegates. Those would be the people that are voting for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other questions.
There is a cost to go to the national convention. You know, KDP, if we paid for everyone, it would be like over $1 million. And that's money that then we would be able to spend on candidates. So we do get sponsors for a lot of events. So like you don't have to pay for your breakfast. You don't have to pay for, you know, your drinks and stuff, you know, all that fun stuff like soft drinks, water, coffee, whatever. There's snacks. There's a hospitality room with alcohol, which you would not be allowed to go in. Well, I guess you could go in and have a snack, but you know, you would have to, we do have a bus for people, and I think it's like $150 round trip. So to and from Chicago, it's $150. The hotel rooms are pricey. We didn't negotiate them. The DNC did. I think for the 4 days, 4 or 5 days of convention, it's like $1,500. But there are ways, like it is permissible for you to have a GoFundMe, where you raise money to, you know, if you become a delegate, to offset the cost of that. So there are ways to make that work if that's a concern. But unfortunately, state parties just kind of can't burden the cost of the national convention.
How many people on average would you say run for national convention within the districts every year?
It depends what district. Right now in the 6th congressional district, I think we have 45 people for, I don't remember how many slots, maybe like 15, 16 delegate positions, and we have roughly 45 people right now. You know, it's a lot. Like in the 1st congressional district, 5th congressional district, the more rural ones, it's a lot fewer people that want to run.
Yeah. Is there any parting tips that you would bestow upon me if I do end up going through that process?
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, treat it like a campaign. You want to be involved in every step of the process. You want to know who the people that are voting for you are, and you want to kind of touch as many of those people as you can. And, you know, this could be your first time asking somebody for their vote for you. So it's an exciting process. It's fun. It's very complicated. It's way too complicated, in my opinion. But, you know, I don't make the rules. The DNC does. And Nicholas, to answer your question, I just pulled it up. There are 6 applicants so far for the 5th district. I don't know off the top of my head how many delegate slots we get for that district, but maybe like 10.
I will look right now.
And then Connor, there are actually 32 in the 6th congressional district, which is actually very surprising that it's not more. The 3rd congressional district has the most applicants at 42, which is, that's Louisville, I guess. That's Morgan McGarvey's district. So that makes sense, but I'm really shocked that there's not more from the 6th congressional district.
Actually, thank you so much for mentioning Morgan McGarvey. Would you be able to connect me with his team? I know in our schedule there was one spot, I can't think of it off the top of my head, that he would possibly be able to come and speak, because I believe the 7th is a district work day.
Yes, I will tell you, because he has 3 small children. When he's at home, he tends to just stay in his district,
Okay.
so that he can be with his kids. But, you know, you can always offer a Zoom option too, and just say, like, you know, in person or whatever. So I will connect you with his scheduler, Madeline.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicholas, actually, wait, sorry, that's district. I've just pulled up the selection plan. Nicholas, I will message you about the 5th district delegates. I don't think I have any other questions. I don't. Connor, Nicholas, do you have anything else? Any other questions?
No questions that I can think of. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it as both an organization and individual. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm always happy to talk to you guys. I will follow up on all the stuff, Parker. I've already connected you with quite a few people via email. But I will follow up with the rest of it and just shoot me an email, text, whatever. And if I can make it work and hop on a call with you guys, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And then I was thinking, just to make everything a little bit more simpler, would you care if I made a group chat with me, you, Connor, Nicholas, and then Sawyer, who's our programs director?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Just so that I'm not just so everyone can message you and we can all message each other through that, just so that we're not all losing our mind.
Yeah, of course. Happy to help.
All right. Alrighty, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for those connections. I've been seeing those emails come in. I will email or text you if I have anything else, any other questions, and I will get that group chat made shortly.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. And you all have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.